Hi guys, hope quarantine's going well. You got a few recipes to play around with. I've shown you chamula, I've shown you a bit of screw. We're gonna do some harissa. I've just got some dried guajillos, okay? So what I've done is taken the seeds out, taken the tops off of them, okay? So we're gonna put those in the bowl. I've got 10 in total here. They're quite big. Usually when I do this, I would use a meat grinder. I don't have access to a meat grinder at the moment, but I'm gonna show you a little trick that we can use later on. Half a Fresno chili with the seeds still in, a piece of garlic. So with this condiment, we're gonna get something that's nice to add to kebabs or anything like that, or if you're cooking a tagine, whatever you want. Just a spoonful of this will help just to make it a bit more floral. And obviously we're gonna get a really sexy colored oil out of it, just to finish plates and to give things a nice flavored oil, all right? So I'm just gonna take those, cover them with a little bit of water. I'm adding the Fresno and the garlic now because I wanna dull the flavor down. I don't wanna have it too harsh in the finished product. I want it to be a bit more fragrant. Just be careful not to inhale too much of the chili. I'm gonna just put a small bowl on top of those like that so it keeps everything submerged underneath the water. The beauty of this and all the condiments is the things that we can put in the fridge. And as long as they stay submerged in the oil, we can keep them for pretty much as long as we want, okay? That's the first stage and I'll show you the second stage later on. Morning guys, so it's harissa time, okay? So we've got our soaked chilies that we soaked overnight. It's important with these that we make sure that all of the liquid is out. Like if I squeeze them now, there's a lot of liquid there guys, okay? So we want to remove as much of that as possible, okay? Just to get that liquid out, that's super important. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the blender. We're gonna just add everything in. Make sure you got your garlic in there, make sure that your fresh chili is in there, don't miss anything. We need a touch of grapeseed oil. So I'll leave that to the side for now, and then we're gonna come back to that in a minute. Okay, so a couple of the spices that we're gonna use is toasted and ground cumin. I've got some of that done already. I've just toasted some coriander seed. And whenever we toast spices, I always add just a pinch of salt, and I cook them just till you can start to smell them. Not too warm, guys. You know, all we're looking to do is just to release those natural oils. We don't wanna take it too far because then they burn. 1 tablespoon of each for this recipe. The spices are going to add the little floral note that we need for the harissa, okay? Now you're probably wondering how I get from that to a nice ground cumin. I've just taken the coriander seeds, pop them into this bowl here. It's important that when we crush them, we have something small enough to keep the seeds falling back to the bottom. Don't use anything too big because it'll be too much of a struggle. I just take my rolling pin and then I crush in the bottom. Go slowly with this part. Don't try and go 100 miles an hour. It's not necessary. What we're looking to do, as long as you hear that, it means the spices are grinding nicely, okay? And once they ground a bit more, you can go a bit quicker. It's going to help us to release the natural oils in the coriander seeds. Just don't whack yourself in the head with your rolling pin. Give it a little tap, 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 and then go around again, okay? If you've got ground coriander, you can do this already. I'm going to add that in. I've left it not crazy ground, like the cumin, because I want the coriander to release a bit more flavor, okay? Now we're gonna put the lid on the blender and I'm gonna begin to mix on a very low speed. Usually, again, I would use a meat grinder for this, but I understand you guys probably don't have a meat grinder at home. A meat grinder is gonna give us the best results, okay? At this point, I'm gonna add just a very small touch of oil, not too much, about 1/4 of a cup. That's gonna help me just to get the peppers going. The trick with this is we don't wanna get it too warm, okay? Be patient and the peppers will envelope themselves back into the bottom, all right? As you can see, it's starting to happen a little bit now. I'm gonna add just a touch more oil at this point, about another 1/4 of a cup again. We're gonna let that drop and it will blend nicely again, okay? There I'm gonna stop, okay? So we're gonna add that to our spices. As you can see, the consistency we got is chopped, okay? It's a nice chopped harissa. There's not too much large chunks in it. We want the smaller chunks. And what we're looking for is the oil to separate from the harissa. We're gonna mix the spices into it now, and I'm gonna leave it at room temp just to sit out until everything starts to separate slightly, okay? So just leave that somewhere warm, and I'll come back and show you the next bit in a bit. Okay guys, so we're gonna finish the harissa now, okay? So the harissa has sat a little bit. All I've done is add 1 cup of oil to this, and I'm just mixing it, okay? And what we've got is a little bit of separation. You can see that there, and it's a nice coloured oil. Now what we need to do is just give that a good mix. It's going to go into the container with the oil, everything, like so. Give it a good mix in the cup. That goes in the fridge to chill out. We're going to get a nice bit of oil on the top, so it's a sexy colour. Enjoy, guys.